Professor Dr. N. Gunasekaran is Dean, Rajalakshmi Engineering College, Chennai. He has 40 years of teaching experience in the field of electronics and communication engineering. He has guided 6 PhD scholars and 3 MS program scholars. He has published 10 books and 10 monographs. He conducted more than 50 short-term courses, winter schools, summer schools, and faculty development programs. He received Best Project Awards twice for UG projects at state level through Directorate of Technical Education, and at national level President of India Award for the project on telephone for physically handicapped persons.
Welcome to UGC lecture series on optoelectronics. Till now we are developing the various supporting concepts towards optoelectronics. Optoelectronics we already defined as an area talking about various applications where photon and electron play a crucial role. Either photon converted into electron hole pair or electron hole pair converted back into photons. Well, before that we have to understand what are the various aspects of electron and how electron as a part of subatomic particle of an atom, what is its role, how it is controlling the various properties of substance, various properties of materials. In that context, today we will continue to discuss how to define electron as a wave, electron as a particle. And interestingly, lot of work gone in in the past. A series of scientists at various periods, particularly in the 19th century beginning, throughout that 19th century, a sequence of scientists, very popular scientists, worked in various aspects of electron. Today we will run through the real work, not very elaborately, very briefly we will just go through what are the various work contributed towards this beautiful concept as electron as a wave. If you look back the history, well, it is a mandatory on our part to recognize, to appreciate the various work done by various scientists. If you go through, if not in detail, if you go through a little bit of the various work, observation, conclusions, experimental results, I think we can very easily understand the concept of what they want to drive. One outstanding observation is all the results, all the observations given by them, they are all true experimental result. That is an outstanding point to be noted. It is not simply all are hypothesis, they are not a guesswork, they are all done through experiments. Rutherford created a model. He is a person who started the ball rolling regarding the atomic structure. We already discussed about Rutherford model, just it is a passing remark. Rutherford atomic model was the first model done somewhere in 1911. Then it is followed by a identification of a flaw. There was a flaw, unacceptable flaw in the model, and it was recognized and it is corrected by Bohr. But before Bohr's model come into existence, there are few more concepts are inserted, one by Planck's constant, Planck's scientist in 1900, Einstein introduced some concept in 1905. So, taking the Planck's concept and Einstein's concept, Bohr improved the model. I think that is almost a good model based on the classical theory, and it was actually improved to a quantum based theory by Bohr, and once again the oscillation went towards identifying the electron as a wave, and slowly the things were stabilizing towards the dual property of electron. what we started with some time back, how electron has got as a part of the subatomic particle of an atom revolving around the nucleus. So, it is beautifully a copy of the planetary model. So, you can see that the way electron revolving around the nucleus is very much identical to the planetary movement around the sun. So, to start with, as we identified, Rutherford is the first man to recognize or to project the beautiful atomic model, where he said the nucleus is at the center and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. The point is, when the electron is revolving around the nucleus, it is undergoing a circular motion. A circular motion means it is undergoing an acceleration. By the electromagnetic classical theory, any particle undergoing acceleration will emit light. In that context, the electron moving around the circular orbit around the nucleus is continuously accelerated, emitting, accelerated, emitting. So, that means there is a continuous loss of energy from the electron. And one of the important concept of even Rutherford is the size of the radius of an atom is directly proportional to the energy content. If the circular orbit is reducing, energy is reducing, that we should not forget. Here we are telling the electron moving around the circular orbit is kept on reducing its radius because of loss of energy, and this process is cumulative. Then at one point the electron will land on the atom, that means atom cannot exist. That was a theory rather understood from the Rutherford model, that what is also exhibited by the diagram. Here you can see a spiral path followed by an electron, and the electron spiraling path give rise to emission of energy continuously. Then comes a Planck's intervention. Planck said this theory as a flaw. It says atom cannot exist, which is not the fact. So, what is the problem? That means all form of energy are transferred in quantum, not continuously. So, beautiful concept he injected. All form of energy are transferred in the form of quantum, like a packets. It is only packet, they are all discrete energy packets, it is not emitted continuously. That was a concept by Planck, and of course, he was studying the black body radiation. So, Planck had introduced his concept in 1900 in the formula explaining the light radiation emitted from the heated body, light radiation happening from the heated bodies. According to the classical theory, comparable amount of light come away as a energy at all frequency. Whatever the frequency you are operating, energy contributed by radiation of all frequency. Here again there is a flaw. There is a no observation evident by this continuous radiation. Energy cannot be radiated continuously. If it is radiated, the energy involved become infinite. If it is radiating continuously at all frequency, the energy required is infinite, which is not a fact. When a body is heated, its radiant energy in a particular frequency range is according to the classical theory proportional to the temperature. Larger the temperature, larger the radiation. But what Planck's hypothesis? He said radiation can occur only in quantum amounts of energy. Radiation can occur only in quantum of energy. If the radiant energy is less than a quantum of energy, the amount of light in that frequency range will be reduced. So, thereby the question of the requirement of infinite energy become meaningless, rather ruled out, not necessary. Due to his insight, he introduced a constant. Due to his as an appreciation of his hypothesis, a constant was introduced, and that is called as a Planck's constant H. Today every one of us aware of what is meant by Planck's constant, and this constant plays a very crucial role in the energy coming out in a discrete form. The word quantum is a discrete and smallest unit of energy. Quantum means a packet of energy, small unit, it is not continuous flow, packet like that can be associated with a single event. A packet of energy is associated with a single event in the microscopic world. That means, whenever electron jumps from one level to another level or goes up in one level, that is a single event. In that single event, there is a emission of a packet of energy. So, energy is given a packet size, number 1. Number 2, energy emission associated with the single event which is going up or going down, absorption or emission. Changes of energy such as a transition of electron from one orbit to another orbit, it is done only in discrete quanta. Now, these are the ideas which we are aware of today, but we are only trying to appreciate how it was developed to concretize the concept of electron as a particle, electron as a wave. Ultimately, the Bohr theory tries to incorporate all these ideas. Quanta are not divisible, it is 1 or 2 or 3, it is not 1.1, 1.2, it is not 2.35, it cannot be a fraction, it is only quantized. The term quantum leap refers to the abrupt movement from one discrete energy level to another level with no smooth transition. There is no in between, it is only jump from one level to another level. And this philosophy of Planck's concept is experimentally verified, that what I was mentioning, every observation in the past followed by experimental verification. Planck's formula correctly describes the radiation from a heated body. Well, Planck was interested only hot body radiation, he is not interested in the discretized something like that, but it is an accidental observation. It is an accidental observation of hot body radiation. There he said energy radiation is happening in quantum. That way the quantum philosophy entered. Planck's constant as the dimension of action, which may be expressed as the unit of energy multiplied by time or momentum multiplied by length or angular momentum. These three are the three crucial observations which were used by Bohr at a later stage. So, when you say the Planck's constant, that constant is a combination of either energy multiplied by time, momentum multiplied by length or angular momentum. Thereby, the Planck's constant finally expressed as h equal to 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, that is energy multiplied by time concept. Incidentally, there is a parallel work done by Einstein. Einstein, as he was carrying out the photoelectric effect, he come across another observation which goes parallel to what is Planck's observation. Einstein successfully explained the photoelectric effect with the context of the quantum physics. He also converging to the quantumization, how energy coming out as a quantum, the point which we are discussing now, how the quantum philosophy entered. So, one side quantum philosophy, it is hypothesized by Bohr, another side Planck from his hot body radiation introduced the philosophy of quantum. Now, the third scientist in the row, Einstein, he also said the photoelectric effect also follows a quantum physics. We will have a very short break and we will back for the discussion. Welcoming you back to continue our discussion on the quantum concept. So, the quantum concept as it is rather hypothesized by the Bohr, next Planck emphasized quantum is a must, and the third person in the row is Einstein. In his photoelectric effect, he said that the emission of light taking place in the form of quantum. In his scientific paper, he showed that light was made up of packets of energy or quantum of energy called photon. the name photon was re-emphasized, reconfirmed by Einstein in his theory, and for that he got the Nobel Prize. According to his photoelectric effect experiment, the electrons are emitted from a metallic surface in the form of packet of energy, number 1, and this energy is directly proportional to the wavelength of operation or frequency of operation. So, higher the frequency, larger the energy content. So, the light intensity has got no control on the intensity of light. In increase the intensity, light is more, that is not the correct concept. If you want to really increase the energy of the light, you have to change the wavelength or frequency. So, that was a real observation in the photoelectric effect. So, he also emphasized the concept of photon. So, each photon carries a specific energy related to wavelength E equal to h nu, energy E equal to Planck's constant h into frequency or 1 hour wavelength. And here it is observed that photon of short wavelength has got more energy than photon of long wavelength. Photon of short wavelength has got more energy than photon of larger wavelength. In other words, energy directly proportional to frequency, that is all. So, if at all you want to change the energy of the emitted light, it is a mandatory to change the frequency, not simply increase the amount of light. Amount of light cannot increase the energy content. The photoelectric effect earned Einstein the Nobel Prize, and it is because of the new terminology, the photon, the packet of energy he introduced in his finding. So, Einstein's particle theory has got an impact in the electrons history. One of the basis of the experimental evidence the scientist Albert Einstein first showed in 1905 that light is made up of photon. It is showing a particle like property. A person once again emphasized the particle property of the electron or the any energy particle. So, here we are only identifying electron as a particle. Again in the year of development, Bohr's quantum theory also getting introduced. Classical physics fails to describe the properties of atom. The Planck's constant served to bridge the gap between the classical model and the quantum concept. So, classical model says the electron is a wave, electromagnetic theory based on electron as a wave, and now there is a flaw in certain observation of experiments. So, we have to attribute a particle, a quantum concept also to the electron. So, it is a Planck's constant introduction, bridge the gap which was existing, saying electron is a wave, electron as a particle. So, Planck's observation is towards quantumized emission. Bohr proposed a quantumized shell model. So, he took the suggestion from Planck, though he developed he requires support from other finding from Planck also. So, he proposed a quantumized shell model for the atom using the same basic structure. The structure of Rutherford is continued. Rutherford is the first man to give an atomic model given by Rutherford, that is continued in all aspects, except that there was a flaw saying that electron is losing energy during its circular path, that alone to be corrected, and that is done by Bohr. Bohr corrected that concept by quoting that electron emitting energy not continuously, but in the form of packets. So, in 1913 Bohr proposed his quantumized shell model of the atom to explain how electrons can have stable orbits around the nucleus. So, incidentally the another requirement also brought into picture. When electron moves around the nucleus, what Rutherford said, it is spiraling and it may land on nucleus. Rutherford said according to his model, electrons spiral round and land on nucleus, killing the atom, but that is not happening. That means there should be a theory to be proposed opposing that, and that is due to Bohr from the support of Einstein as well as from Planck's constant. He said the electrons are orbiting in a stable orbit. So, the stable orbit become a turning point. So, how electron can be stable? What is the condition requirement to find out the orbits are stable or unstable? So, the motion of the electron in the Rutherford model was unstable. Rutherford model, it is unstable because of spiraling concept, and according to the classical mechanics, electromagnetic theory, when it is moving around the orbit, it is losing energy, emitting energy, spiraling concept, killing atom, all that sequence follows. The Bohr modified the Rutherford theory and says the electrons are moving in a fixed orbit, orbits of various radius and various energy, and it is only moving in a fixed orbit, stable orbit. Now, we have to answer how the orbit can be made stable, what is the requirement, and particularly when the energy of the electron depends on the size of the orbit, the smallest orbit become a stable one, because below that there is no other orbit. So, now what we should now try to find out, how to make the orbit of the electron stable, what is the condition to be met with. So, thereby the concept of stable orbit, stable orbital levels, energy levels, all are developed. So, we have to understand what are the stable levels, what is happening when electron goes from one level to another level, and thereby the very much required our concept like absorption, emission can be explained and understood. In optoelectronics, we have to understand very clearly what is emission, what is the absorption. If emission happening, what happened to the electron hole pair? If absorption happening, what happened to the electron hole pair? Now, we are moving towards that concept, for that all this history to be revised and understood. Radiation can occur only when electron jumps. There are few hypotheses made by Bohr. One of them is radiation is occurring only during jumping and emission in quantums. The atom will be completely stable in the state with the smallest orbit, since there is no other orbit below that. So, the point to be remembered, electrons are revolving in a stable orbit, and when electrons are jumping from one orbit to another orbit, emission takes place. So, this probably solved the flaw in the Rutherford's model, and that what we are seeing here. Here we are seeing various orbital levels. When a photon of energy absorbed, electron goes up in the level. When emission takes place, electrons are jumping down, and this is the basic concept we require for our optoelectronic topic. A stable atom can has a certain size, so that any equation describing it must contain some fundamental constant and combination of constant with the dimension of length. Now, we are moving towards how to find a condition for a stable orbit and what is to be done, how to define a stable orbit, is there any manipulation to be done, is there any constant to be introduced, that is the question. Bohr noticed, however, that quantum constant formulated by Planck, that constant given by Planck. So, Bohr used the constant of the Planck, and the Planck constant has got a dimension. When the constant combine with mass and charge of the electron, they produce a measurement in length. We want some constant ending with a length dimension, because we are talking about the electron revolving around the circumference of an atom. Circumference is a 2 pi r, 2 pi r is a length, whether 2 pi r is made to be a constant. Only when 2 pi r, the circumference of the circle executed by electron is a constant, then orbit is stable. So, thereby here Bohr borrowed the Planck's constant concept and he multiplied by other constant like a charge, mass of electron, and end up with a dimension length. So, thereby numerically the measure is close to the known size of atom. Thereby this manipulation in all finding, there are certain manipulation done to arrive at a constant, so that the results observed by experiments are verified. So, here again the same thing done by Bohr, and Bohr used the Planck's constant and thereby come to a beautiful formula. Planck's formula correctly describes the radiation from a heated body. Though Planck's concept related to heated body, but it gives a clue how to arrive a constant which will make the orbit stable. So, Planck's constant has a dimension of action which may be expressed as a unit of energy multiplied by time, momentum multiplied by length and angular momentum. Three choices are given to arrive at a compatible constant. Using Planck's constant, Bohr obtained a accurate formula for the energy level of hydrogen. So, our understanding is now there is an unstable concept introduced by Rutherford. Planck intervened, he is not supporting the classical model. Then he introduced the discretized model by introducing a constant, and that constant is intelligently used by Bohr, and thereby he is arriving a stable orbital movement of electron in an atom. That is the continuity we have to get. So, the Bohr using the Planck's model, if the angular momentum of electron is quantized, this is the final finding of Bohr. If angular momentum of electron is quantized, problem solved. Angular momentum of electron is quantized, then the orbits made by electron become stable, thereby there is no energy loss. So, that is the final thing. So, it can have discrete values. He assumed that electron, if it obeys a classical model, it loses energy. If its angular momentums are quantized, then the orbits become stable. So, because of this quantization, that is a key point, electrons orbit have fixed size and fixed energies. That is the final conclusion of Bohr. So, Bohr intelligently used Planck's idea and make the angular momentum quantized, thereby the orbits become of fixed size and orbits become fixed energy. So, thereby we are getting in an atomic structure various orbits of various energies. So, when you see an atomic structure, there is a big history behind it. We are seeing number of electron orbiting in a atom, and various orbits, various radius, various energies, how they are all arrived, what is the theory behind it, that what we discussed now. It is a contribution of different scientists at various period, thereby they arrive at various orbital size corresponding to various energies. And because of this concept, whenever electron goes from one orbit to another orbit, there is a emission or absorption of energy, and that is going to be the basic philosophy to our optoelectronics. We will stop at this stage for our next discussion. Thank you.